Week number 9 in our 10-week series, Becoming Like Jesus. The topic is Imitate Christ. The passage, 1 Corinthians 11:1, and you should imitate me. This is Paul speaking. You should imitate me just as I imitate Christ. The application for the student is, in order to imitate Christ, we must learn from his life and people that live like him. We do this by reading the Word, the Bible, spending time listening to the Holy Spirit, worship, prayer, fasting, being in community, and looking to people God has surrounded us with as examples. So parents, this is a moment where we are going to be pushing students back to imitating their families, because as Paul said, imitate me as I imitate Christ. We have plenty of these examples in our day-to-day lives, and that's a huge role for a parent in the lives of a student. And our group leaders are going to take this moment to say, hey, you should look to your parents because they're imitating Christ. You can imitate them. This is an opportunity for parents to have the conversation with their students about your responsibility in their life. Putting it in this way might ease a lot of the tension you might feel in your home when you're telling them to do certain things, act a certain way. My parents had this conversation with me, and honestly, as a middle schooler, it was very beneficial. My dad sat me down and said, Brian, I'm imitating Christ so that you have a real life example of what it looks like to imitate Christ yourself. That was so powerful for me. Now, I didn't always listen, didn't always understand, but we brought ourselves back to those conversations multiple times. And what it did for me was give me an idea of why my parents were so focused on holiness and pursuing God's presence and going to church. It wasn't because of religious activity. It was because they were imitating Christ.